Riley Brown, right next to him in the middle.
How you guys doing? I worked on Cable and Deadpool for a couple of years, and I worked on New Warriors, The Amazing Spider-Monkey, Hercules, and I recently the current miniseries Prince of Power.
Very cool. And lastly, Mike Costa on the end, writer of stuff.
I write, but not an artist. I am currently writing the Transformers ongoing title for IDW and their ongoing G.I. Joe Cobra. And I first started doing a miniseries for Wildstorm about Jack Hawksworth.
All right. Awesome. My name is Andy Schmidt. I started at Marvel in 2002. Worked there for about 6 years. Worked my way up to editor. I was working on X-Men by the end. I ran the first Annihilation and Madrox and X-Factor. Those are the things I was probably best known for as an editor. Left in 2007 to start Comics Experience online. We teach writing, penciling, inking, coloring, and lettering. We also have ongoing writers' workshops, artist workshops, and a book club, which are sort of monthly things where you are, if you've got stuff you're working on, this is a great opportunity with like-minded people. You can upload your scripts, your proposals, and they get critiqued by other people who are doing the same thing or on the same sort of journey as you, both for writers and artists, obviously. And every month we have like a guest editor, a guest writer, writing professionally, editing professionally, that comes in as a guest critique. And then once a month too, you get online with me live, and I do a critique, and we talk about stuff. We talk about the stuff that you're dealing with, either as a writer or an artist. We do that for about 2 hours once a month. And it's sort of a Q&A. It's kind of informal, but it's also informative. So that's what Comics Experience does. And after I started that up, IDW called and hired me to be their senior editor to launch G.I. Joe for them. And now I'm also working on Transformers as well. It's exhausting. Fun. And I write as well. And as you'll see on the last slide, because I do shameless plugs, I have a creator-owned book coming out in September called 5 Days to Die. But we'll get to that later. All right, first thing that you should know about breaking into comics is everyone's got talent. Even that dude. So that's sort of the first premise, especially of Comics Experience, is that it's a nurturing environment, and that's something that's very important. Even as an editor, I needed people with sort of support to let me know that even though this thing I'm working on may not be great, there's seeds of good work in it. I was very lucky to meet early on in my career people like Klaus Janson and Brian Bendis, who have been really strong supporters of me personally and me pursuing work both as editor and writer. They've been really great. And hopefully Comics Experience at times does that. But the first thing you've got to know and believe is that you've got talent and that you've got something to say, either as an artist, as a penciler, an inker, whatever, or as a writer as well. So that's the first thing that you have to know. Key number one. Do you guys disagree? Let me know. Do you think there are people that are just talentless?
Sounds good so far.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
I disagree with this.
Okay, there are 3 fundamentals to breaking into comics that go along with the Calvin Hobbes cartoon that I put on there because I like it. So let's talk about those. Talent, which we've already covered. You've got it. So you've got that one down.
Done.
You're a third of the way there. This is awesome. Also, I'm implying that you're going to write the next, or draw the next Watchmen. Isn't that nice? Okay. You need persistence. You need a drive. If you're a writer, write. That sounds dumb, it sounds corny, but there are a lot of people that come up to me that want to write who don't actually spend much time writing. Okay? So that's the first thing you've got to do. You've got to write, and you've got to be persistent. You've got to pursue work in the industry, be it a creator-owned thing you want to do, self-publish, or do work for hire, work for the Marvels and DCs of the world, which are Marvel and DC, by the way. The third thing you need is luck. In this particular scene, Indiana Jones didn't have much and nearly got get crushed by a giant boulder. Hopefully you'll have more luck.
Oh, but he didn't. That's kind of like.
He didn't. He even stumbled. It looked like he was unlucky, but he got up and he made it out.
That's called persistence.
That's. All right. One thing I'd like to say about luck is luck sounds like something that's out of your control. And maybe to a little degree it is, but I really don't think, for the majority, that it's something that you can't affect in a very significant way. Luck in the comics industry, breaking in, really has to do with being in the right place at the right time. More specifically, that's not physically in the right place at the right time. It's in the right mind at the right time. So you can be persistent, which means people get to know you, people start to see your work, be it art or writing, and you might be in the right person's brain when, say, Ed Brubaker retires off of Captain America, and you just met Tom Brevoort the day before. That's good work. That's persistence, improving on your luck, and you get to write Captain America. Who wants a job writing Captain America after Brubaker's run is off? I don't. You kidding me? All right. So those are the three fundamentals of breaking into comics. It's really, that's what you need. You got to be good, you got to be persistent, and you got to be lucky. You guys want some good news?
No.
You need two of them. Any two will do. If you are talented and persistent, you're going to find some kind of work, or you're going to wind up getting a book approved as a creator-owned book, or you're just going to self-publish. And you'll do all right. You'll get your shot, at least. You'll get at least a shot. And you can be talented and just plain lucky, and you'll get a shot because you're lucky, but you do have the talent to sort of back it up, and so you'll get a shot. Or, option 3, you can have no talent, be horrible, but persistent and lucky, and you'll get work. You may be thinking of particular creators right now, none of whom I will name. But it is true. And there are a lot of people that we work with because we like working with them, and they're good. They hit the ball, you know, ball's in play, that's good enough today. More important, or at least equally as important, to breaking into comics is staying in comics. At least I think so.
Vastly underestimated skill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I have found, I have gone to a lot of panels about breaking into comics. I've read a lot of things about breaking into comics, and people rarely address this, which is, I got job 1, how do I get jobs 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on? You guys have any thoughts on that? Like what it was like for you guys? After you got that first, was there like a high with the first gig, and then you realized this dream is over?
Yeah, the first gig, you know, that's like the biggest rush when they call you up and they're like, you know, oh, we want to see if your schedule's available because we might have a project for you. And, you know, and that's great. Then you do the project, and then you're back home and you're waiting for the next call, and the call is not coming because, you know, I mean, who knows why? Because you're new. They don't have much of a work relationship with you. So you got to keep hustling. You got to keep being persistent. You got to break into comics more than once.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I just noticed that I forgot to mention these email sign-up sheets that are coming around. If you're interested in the courses or the Writer's Workshop or Artist Workshop, you can just put your name and email address on there. I send out a newsletter about once a month. If not once a month, it's less than that, so I don't spam you all that often, but that's a good way to stay informed if you're interested in doing any of this stuff down the line. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I've never actually heard that before, but that is really true, that you have to break into comics more than once. Because after I got in, and I got in very much based on luck, it was so amazing and so exciting. But then I remember when my first issue of my first miniseries came out, it came out 2 weeks before New York Con that year. And I'd never been to New York Con, and I went out there specifically because I knew my first issue was coming out, and I wanted to meet everybody, and I wanted to, you know, like it was my coming out party, like, you know, debutante comic book.
They actually planned the con for you.
Yeah, that's what I was told. It was in April that year, which is normally later. They waited for me. So, but then I got to the convention, and no one had read it. And I didn't really anticipate that most people would read it, because it was about a character that not a lot of people are familiar with, and it was one issue, had only been out for only 1 week. But I went to the Marvel booth, and a girl named Lauren Sankovich, who at the time was an assistant there, but I think now is a full editor at Marvel.
At least associate, if not full, yeah, I'm not sure.
She
Super nice
saw
girl.
my name tag, and she said, "Oh, you're the Mike Costa that wrote with Jack Hawksmoor." And it was that, more than anything, was like the best moment of my life, because it was a Marvel editor recognizing me based on one thing I did, and I thought, this is it. My career begins today. And then I didn't have another gig for like 8 or 9 months. And I would call the company that published it all the time, and I would talk to my editor, who I had a really good relationship with, and his name is Scott Peterson. He's a great guy. We're still friends to this day. Even though I've never actually worked for him again, because he just didn't have anything for me, and no one else at Wildstorm had anything for me, and Laura didn't have anything for me, and the other people at Marvel didn't have anything for me, and I started getting really panicked and thinking, what if this is the only thing I ever do? And it was sort of luck again that got me G.I. Joe Cobra, which was my first book with Andy, and that got momentum to lead to other work. But after that first book,